The first thing on our agenda is a presentation from the Daughters of the American Revolution, and we have Miss Sandy Sperry to make a presentation to us today. So, Miss Sperry, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Everyone hear me? Is it on? Thank you. I'd like to think I'm soft-spoken, but not always. Good evening and thank you. And thank you, Mr. Gooden. Gentlemen, I am Sandra Sperry, Regent of the Edenton Tea Party Chapter, National Society Daughters of the American Revolution. For those of you who may not know, the DAR was founded in 1890 and we're headquartered in Washington, D.C. We are a nonprofit, non-political women's volunteer service organization dedicated to promoting patriotism, preserving American history, and securing America's future through better education for children. Our local Edenton Tea Party chapter has 91 members, and you probably most remember us for the 4th of July ceremony on the courthouse green, which has been going on for 25 years now, and also wreaths across America. In North Carolina, there are 105 DAR chapters across the state with nearly 8,000 members. Worldwide, we have chapters in Europe. There are over 190,000 members. But I'm here tonight on behalf of the Edenton Tea Party DAR chapter to ask the town of Edenton's permission to place a DAR marker, DAR 250 marker, at the Elizabeth Van Moore Park in honor of our nation's upcoming 250th anniversary and next year's 250th anniversary of the signing of the Edenton Resolves, which most people still refer to as the Edenton Tea Party. I believe you have handouts. As you can see from the handouts, the marker commemorates the men and women who achieved American independence. These patriots, believing in a noble cause of liberty, fought valiantly to found a new nation from 1775 to 1783, and that is what is on the marker. With your approval tonight, we expect to unveil this marker in October 2024 when our DAR President General comes to Edenton to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Edenton Resolves. The Elizabeth Van Moore Park is absolutely the best area to place this marker for several reasons. The park is named for noted historian Elizabeth Van Moore, but I'm not telling you anything. But for over 50 years, she researched the 51 women who signed the Edenton Resolves on October 25th, 1774, at which became known as the Edenton Tea Party. Our DAR chapter is named after this meeting, and we are eternally grateful to Miss Moore for her uncompromising and unrelenting research. The park, if you look at it, is nearly at the epicenter of those men and women who achieved American independence and who are buried or memorialized nearby. There's Hugh Williamson, Joseph Hughes, Samuel Johnston, James Iredell Sr., James Wilson, Penelope Barker, and 3 other women who signed the Edenton Resolves. They're buried at Hayes Farm. Frances Cathcart Johnston, Margaret Cathcart Mackenzie, Jean Johnston Blair. Another signer of the Edenton Resolves, Sarah Blunt Littlejohn, is buried at Beaver Hill Cemetery. With the town's gracious approval already, we plan to mark her grave in October 2024 at the same time this America 250 marker is unveiled. One question that the National DAR Historian General posed is, are there other things that may draw visitors to the America 250 marker? You all live in Edenton, so you know the answer is yes. we can answer that with a resounding yes. Excuse me, there are many things that will draw visitors not only to the marker, but also to Edenton. Nearby to the Elizabeth Van Moore Park is, among other things, Hayes Farm, the Hugh Williamson Monument, the Waterfront Cannons, the Joseph Hughes Monument, the historic Chowan County Courthouse, St. Paul's Church, the Teapot on the Green, which of course commemorates the signing of the Edenton Resolves, the Cupola House, and last but not least, the Barker House, which was built by Penelope and Thomas Barker in 1782. Placing the DAR 250 marker at the Elizabeth Van Moore Park will tie all these sites together as recognition to the Revolutionary War patriots from 1775 to 1783. For all the reasons I've mentioned, the Edenton Tea Party chapter respectfully requests that the town grant us permission to place the DAR America 250 marker at the Elizabeth Van Moore Park at the spot that I believe is designated on the photograph, the handouts you have been given. Thank you, gentlemen, for your consideration.
Thank you very much, Ms. Perry, for your presentation. And I believe this does require action from us. So at this time, I will entertain a motion.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
You're certainly welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, the next is a presentation for the Town Harbor Advocates, and that's Joe Wash, Bud Powell, Mark Tyson, and Captain Jim Friends.
Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Councilman and Mayor. You know, when I first came to Edenton, one of the first things I did was made my way down to this waterfront, and I went on a fantastic tour with Captain Mark. And that definitely was one of the highlights of my visit here. And I think for many of our guests, getting down to this waterfront and seeing it is a big part of their time here. I think the waterfront is an important part for our local people. A great asset for this town. We are a waterfront community, and you all have done a fantastic job in the transition of this from what I understood it was before I ever got here to what you have now, and this is fantastic. But because it's fantastic doesn't mean it can't get better. And when I walk in the mornings out on the breakwall, I look at this waterfront, it's fantastic, but it's missing something. It's missing boats. Waterscapes and boats kind of go together. And if you look at the wonderful paintings around, you see waterfronts with boats in them, and sometimes our boat slips are empty down here. And that's a sad thing. It's kind of like looking at the Gordman's building right now. So I became interested in looking at what we could do to better utilize our waterfront, and found out there are a few other folks that have similar desires. One of them certainly Captain Mark. You know, his office is down in our waterfront. He works there almost every day through the season. And so we started talking, and we've spoken individually with a couple of the councilmen. But we thought maybe what we could do is formalize this a little bit and pull together a group. We call ourselves the Town Harbor Advocates, is what we call ourselves. And we pulled together, started talking about some ideas and options of things we might bring to suggest to this body to make the utilization, the beneficial utilization of our waterfront, take it to the next step and improve it. Make more use of these boat slips here, better use for our locals and regional boaters. You know, I talk to a lot of my friends that have boats, and I say, hey, I hear you're out on the water, where'd you go? And 9 times out of 10, they say they go over to Mackey's. They don't come here. And, you know, with all due respect to Mackey's, I think we have a lot more to offer down here. So what can we do to attract those boaters to this area? So we pulled together this little advisory committee. Can we go to the next slide? And pulled together a few folks that have some interest in this and know a thing or two about boating. I don't know a thing or two about boating, but Captain Jim Freeze, who's unable to be here tonight, he is a professional captain. He moves boats up and down the eastern seaboard all the time. He's probably been in more harbors than all of us put together. You all know Bud Powell, who has done a lot of this work down here and is also an avid boater and just a wonderful person. And Captain Mark, of course, who, as I mentioned earlier, has his office down there and his business, and is also a retired Navy and certainly a seaman in his career. And then myself, who's just interested in what this means to our town, and of course I have a business down near the waterfront as well. So what did we do? We put together a mission. We can go to the next slide with our mission statement. And really, what we'd like to do is get together, spend some time, look at best practices of other harbors around, do some research on things that we think might improve the beneficial utilization of our waterfront, particularly from a boating standpoint, and bring those opportunities to this body and see if we can identify things that hopefully you could vote on that would ultimately improve that. To just give you an idea of the kind of framework that we're working under, we go one more for us there. Really looking at 3 different areas. Policy, our town policy of how we utilize this space, the promotion that we do to attract people here for whether it's local, regional, or if it's the Albemarle Loop or whatever kind of promotion we do, and our infrastructure. And I think the infrastructure, when we did a cursory look at the infrastructure, it's really sound, really good. But there might be some things in that we can improve on. So we would like to go study these things. And what we would ask tonight is if you would be willing to commission this team into an advisory committee for you all, so that if we go do this work, you would have open ears and you would take our suggestions and ultimately hopefully vote on those and appropriate funds and change policies in those directions. But we would like the opportunity to be a committee that could bring that to you going forward. That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joe. I think that's a wonderful idea, and it can certainly bring boats here and bring us closer. So I think, I guess we just need to send that to full council. We don't need to take action tonight.
One thing, we'll go in a little further discussion underneath the administrative committee. We have an item there, and we'll go in a little further detail about formalizing that group and what myself and some of the staff have went through to try to bring that to some form of guidance and some form of policy in place to kind of manage what we're doing. And we'll go into that a little further, but no action at this time, Mayor.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, the next on our agenda is a special recognition tonight. One of our council people is getting ready to leave us. They're going to move to
Missouri.
Okay. So Roger, if you will come forward, I'll have a special presentation for you here. And this is a resolution honoring Roger Coleman for service to the Edenton Town Council. And whereas the Edenton Town Council takes great pride in the outstanding qualities and dedication of Edenton citizens who have served as on the Town Council. And whereas the Edenton Town Council endeavors to provide leadership that executes the true mission of the town of Edenton, to provide a vibrant and strong community for all of its residents. And whereas Roger Coleman has supported this mission in an outstanding manner during his years of service on the Edenton Town Council as councilman representing the at-large council position. And whereas Councilman Coleman has served as a valuable liaison between the council and the community in various capacities, including his service on the Administrative Committee, Finance Committee, Utilities Committee, the Mayor's Task Force on Litter, and the Environment and the Board of Adjustments. And whereas Councilman Coleman led the campaign to help relaunch the town of Edenton's recycling program after many years of no service. And now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and town council members do hereby thank Councilman Coleman for the years of outstanding leadership he has rendered to the community. And be it further resolved that the mayor and town council members do hereby thank Councilman Coleman's family for supporting him and sharing him with the community, often giving up family time while Councilman Coleman attended to his various council duties. And be it further resolved that the mayor and town council members do hereby thank council. I'm reading the same one again. Be it further resolved that mayor and town council members urge all citizens to reflect upon the dedication and leadership Councilman Coleman has provided and give thanks to this man that has been an important part of the council. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be added to the minute books of the Edenton Town Council as a lasting testament for the appreciation and affection the town of Edenton has for Councilman Coleman. Roger?
Thank you very much.
For your service.
Thank I would like to, congratulations, Roger.
Can you
Congratulations.
send me that last one? Sure.
I would like to say a few words to all of you.
I'm not
Thank
even
you.
going to impose the 3-minute time limit.
I'll take 3 minutes, but it's been probably one of the honors of my life to get to serve the residents and to be a part of this council. I'm smart enough, and I came on this council knowing that it takes more than one vote to do anything. It takes at least 3, and in most cases we agreed on everything. So I felt like I was very much a part of a team. We've gone through COVID. That was a challenge for all of us. We went through the hiring of a new town manager, which was a challenge. We've dealt with some social issues that have been controversial. But we've always came out looking like we all cared about this town and we worked for the good of this town. I'm very honored to have been a part of this group and to have worked with you. It's a memory that will always be with me, and I just want to share my appreciation of all the support that the town and the council has provided over these years. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Roger. Okay, the next is our 10th Amendment and restated full requirements for power purchase agreement. Okay, I'm sorry, I skipped over one. We need to approve of a private sale of the town equipment, which it would be Councilman Coleman's computer. He has asked that he might be able to purchase that. Corey, you had
One thing.
done some research on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. So one thing we were not familiar with was the process of actually selling one of the laptops versus one of the iPads. Historically, we've had mainly iPads. And so we did a little bit of research, Tammy and I did, and we also spoke with the IT director to try to figure out what's a reasonable, normal price for a 4-year-old plus computer. Typically, we had done $50 for iPads, which was about the trade-in rate. We did go through things with the Microsoft trade-in program, and we're recommending a price of $150 for that unit. That was just a little bit shy of what the trade-in value was, but this is the first time we've sold a computer more than over an iPad, so
Right.
we're not sure how to handle that.
It's in keeping with what we normally
Yes,
do
this
with
is- yeah.
outgoing
Yes, sir.
councilmen, is that correct?
That's correct.
You need a motion?
Yeah.
All right, so moved, I mean.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Roger, you have your
Thank you.
computer.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we'll move into our committee meetings. And the first is the administrative, I skipped over that. If you'd let me finish the first one.
I'm sorry.
Okay, the 10th Amendment and restated full requirements for power purchase agreement. And Corey, I will turn it over to you for that.
Yes, sir. So earlier this month, we did receive the updated version of the restated full requirements purchase power agreement. This is from the legal offices that represents the North Carolina Eastern Municipal Power Association. This has historically been the agreement that we work with the NCAP folks to allow us to purchase power at wholesale rates from Duke Energy Progress. Included in the packet was a long list, but a rather short list compared to what's left to sign, of documents that I'm requesting that council would approve, me to sign on behalf after Hood and I have a chance to review these. There are multiple documents that we need to go through from the attorney's opinion, as well as the clerk's opinion, as well as the actual executed contract. This does allow us to continue operations as normal for our wholesale power bill. And I did include a list of the additional key items from the original red line markup from the 2015 version. That's the last time since this original document has been reviewed. Typically, revisions come in the form of an amendment to the original agreement, but the original agreement and the 10th Amendment were both considered this time. And I'll be glad to answer any questions. I did try to include a markup in the memo of all the key items, but if there are any specifics that anyone may have, I can go through that. If not, action is required for me and Hood to work together on getting this back to them.
I have one question, Corey, Mayor. Does this affect our solar energy policy at all?
So it does. There was some definitions that were included, and I did not bring my reading glasses, where we have defined, it used to be qualified generation, and those definitions now have been changed to qualified resources. There was bits of this for energy injection devices that was added to this with Duke Energy Progress. Some of our larger Municipal Power Association members are seeing projects in that area. And the remaining items was a lot of technical data, you know, things that are energy injection devices greater than or less than 95 kilowatts. How are they classified as qualified resources? So, yes, there were revisions included in this for not only generation, but as well storage.
Okay.
So, yes.
Would anything that would limit, any limitations there that what we're currently doing?
Most of the limits that I saw that were revisions to the document were for your larger industrial-sized generation. When you talk about coincidental peak versus typical peak, there were some very technical things there for them for large-scale storage or generation. Okay. But for residential, for 99% of our customers, no, sir, no impact.
Any further questions for Corey? If not, I'll entertain a motion to let Corey and our town attorney move forward with this action.
So move.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, now we'll move to the committee meetings. And the first is the Administrative Committee, and that's chaired by Councilman High.
Thank you, Mayor Stallings. We have two items to discuss tonight. The first is a memorandum of understanding with Habitat for Humanity. As most of us are aware, the town has placed a priority on providing decent, affordable housing to working families here in Edenton, and through our land use plan, our ordinances, and our initiatives, we're trying to do that. Also, always willing to look for partners out there to help us achieve that goal. One of our partners is Habitat for Humanity, and we've got a memorandum of understanding that just puts forth in writing the commitment that the town has and also Habitat has to provide decent housing for an affordable price to our families. And this just puts into writing the recognition of our partnership and just sets forth how that partnership will operate. It's our recommendation that we move this forward to full council and at our next meeting enter into the memorandum of understanding. It's fairly straightforward. Okay. Anything anybody else needs to add or comment? So,
Mr. Sams is here if there are any questions about the process. I know that him and Dwayne have worked recently, but we've worked together over the last 2 years trying to get this thing up to date. And with housing being such an important target for council as a whole, it was time for us to revisit that. We asked Mr. Sams to join us.
thank you, John, for everything you're doing. Do you need to add anything? Anything that we need to know?
No, but we built in Clemens County. Hertford is trying to follow in your footsteps with the redevelopment type initiatives you've been doing. They're way behind. And we hope to take this, if you approve it, to Clemens and get him and say, let's all follow the same policies here. So hopefully it'll approve it.
Thank you. The next item is Mr. Mayor, a follow-up from the earlier presentation that we had in our special meeting, and that is the opportunity to set up the Mayor's Harbor Advisory Committee. I've been out on the water with 3 of the gentlemen that are here many times before. You have heard me many times before say that I feel like a town and trying to build an attractive town is very much a competitive marketplace. And 3 of the towns that are mentioned in our packet, Washington, Beaufort, and Elizabeth City, quite honestly, are doing much better jobs with their waterfront. And when I speak of us being in a competitive marketplace, people choose to stay here, people choose to move here, and people choose to visit here, and they could also choose any other places. And so I think the timing is right for us to take a look at what some of those other towns are doing. And as Joe mentioned, we're doing a good job here, but we can do better. And so the recommendation that the advisory committee has come up with and also town staff has come up with is a consideration of a 6-member group, 4 residents, a town employee, and the Main Street executive director. If everyone is in favor of such a committee, I would recommend that we move it forward to full council. Applications will go out or go online and be available through November 23rd at 5 p.m. Is that correct, Corey?
Yes, that's correct.
Yep. And based on what I've seen in the area and some of these other towns, based on what I've seen, I also wanted to comment on one thing that Joe said. A lot of tourists stop me all the time and say that they were looking to take a picture with a marina and docks full of boats and wanted to know where all the boats were. So I get asked that quite a lot. But in any event, that's just anecdotal evidence. In any event, with everyone's approval, we'll just move this to full council for further discussion and hopefully forming this committee at our November meeting, Mayor.
Okay, great.
And that concludes our reports.
Okay,
Thank you,
Mayor.
sir.
All right, next is our Public Works Committee, and that's chaired by Councilman Miller.
Mayor, we got 2 items of business tonight. Our Public Works Director, David Myers, has requested the approval of a memorial bench in memory of the long-term employee, Scott Allen. The bench will be located at the brick sidewalk in front of North Number 1 retail store at 215 South Broad Street. And the approximate cost of the bench is about $2,000. Our committee would like to forward this request to full council on November 14th meeting.
Just to be clear, Scott Allen Dees, not just Scott Allen.
Scott Allen, okay.
Allen Dees.
You know what? They didn't have that last name. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad,
No, I
I'm
just wanted to
glad you
make-
said that.
Yeah,
I'm
I just
glad you
wanted to
said
make
that.
sure it was clear that we were
That
honored.
is clear. Appreciate
Scott,
it. I didn't
Scott
see the
Dees.
Dees
I do
name.
Scott, as we all
I
do.
knew
Thank
that
you.
didn't sound right, but
Yeah, Scott Allen Dees.
yeah.
Okay, our second item, David again has requested the approval of the installation of a new trash receptacle at the 100 block of East Queen Street in the vicinity of the 2 newly paved parking spaces next to the Carolina Real Estate Office. Having the receptacle at this particular location would protect the water meter boxes at the 102 East Queen Street location from cars pulling up on the curb to park. This trash receptacle would cost about $1,000. Our committee would like to forward this on to council too.
Okay, great.
Thank you for correcting me on D's.
No, that's all right. I didn't mean,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to be like that, but I just wanted to make sure that the record was clear.
Thank you for doing that.
All right, thank you, sir. And that concludes our agenda for tonight, and now we're going to go in closed session.
Motion that we go in closed session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
You know what? It was there.